Hey, this is Steve with H2H Media, and I'm here with Dr. Donath, one of our clients. And so, Dr. Donath, you just take a second and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what you focus on.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. My name is Jonathan Donath. I specialize in non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. This is my 13th year in practice, and I've been doing spinal decompression the whole time. I started my practice from scratch right out of school, and I worked for another chiropractor who had spinal decompression therapy. Really loved how you could get people better that maybe otherwise, maybe as chiropractors, we wouldn't have even treated because of the severity of the case, the severity of the disc herniations, and the neurological symptoms that maybe we would have referred out to other physicians. So I thought, hey, let's try it. So I started, I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. Like most people who start, you're trained by the manufacturer of the table. And then, one thing led to another, a lot more training, a lot more realizing how little I knew. And I kind of fell into spinal decompression as one of my niche specialties. And through the years, it's grown. And in 2015, I wrote a book on non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. And so now it's not the only thing I do. I treat a lot of peripheral neuropathy, and I do chiropractic, and I do nutrition, but I'd say 60-70% of my practice is spinal decompression therapy. I have 7 spinal decompression machines. And so, yeah, thank God. It's good.
That's very nice. Very nice practice. Tell us a little bit about where you were when we first started working together, and maybe a little bit about where you are now.
Okay. So like I said, 13 years of doing spinal decompression therapy. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, I've tried a lot of things. We get people better, so we constantly need new patients. So you get a lot of referrals from medical doctors, but you still kind of medical doctors, no matter how many medical doctors refer me patients, no matter how many patients, I have 7 machines I want to fill. And so I'm always looking for that next thing, that marketing thing that's going to get some more people in front of me that have the severity of what I'm looking to treat. So I've tried a lot of different things, a lot of different internet marketing, Facebook advertising, all sorts of different things. I feel like I've tried just about everything. Maybe a year before I met you, I was told to use this guy who's this Facebook guru, and he pretty much did exactly what he said he would do. He said he got me 60 leads, and they're pretty, quote unquote qualified leads. He had this, and I even saw, he wouldn't show me he wouldn't tell me what he was doing. He wouldn't show me the actual images of like the ads he was putting on Facebook. But one day I had a patient in my office. He was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." And he starts filling it out. He showed it to me, and I said, "Take a screenshot of that, because I want to see at the end which doctor is it sending you to." And sure enough, he went through the whole thing. It was like a quiz, and it asked the patient, how much pain they're in and the severity and blah, blah, blah. And it was really good. I thought it really qualified the lead well. And I was so excited when he hit the send button and says, "Okay, Dr. Donath's office will be calling you for a free consultation," or something, whatever it said. So I was pretty happy. I thought, wow, this is great. And I got 60 leads in 1 month. And my staff spend a whole lot of time, as anyone knows who does any type of internet marketing, with free consultation leads or whatever kind of leads you're getting. It's you put them into your system to try to get them to come in for the visit. And it's like, it's time intensive. And I can't tell you how many hours, Steve, that my staff spent on those 60 leads to try and get them in the door. And I kid you not, one showed up. And I don't believe that person signed up for care. So it was very, very, and that was very expensive, that marketing as well. So I think I gave it a second month, and then it was pretty similar. It was, leads were coming in. I'd be calling people. They'd be like, I never signed up for anything. That would happen a lot. It was like almost, I never signed anything. I never did the internet, stop calling me. Like, okay. So then it was maybe a year later that you were referred to me by someone I trust, and said, you gotta meet Steve. He doesn't. I said, well, I was a little skeptical, but he told me you have a different mousetrap, and it intrigued me what he told me about you. So I said, okay. And we had a nice talk. And I believe it's been a couple months now, but I believe we must have had 3 or 4 different conversations. You were extremely patient with me, because as anyone in my shoes know, there's a whole lot of people marketing to us as chiropractors, as spinal, if you do spinal decompression therapy, our cases are worth more. So it allows us to spend more on marketing, and marketers know that. So we're constantly bombarded. I mean, every day there's just 2 or 3 or 4 emails of someone cold calling, trying to get us to come in. So certainly I'm naturally very skeptical. And so you were very patient with me. You answered all my questions repeatedly. And I was still pretty nervous because, again, I tried it. I've been told, and it sounds too good to be true. It usually is. And
you've been there, done that.
Probably took I'm guessing it was now, again, we're talking a couple months ago, but it was probably, you probably spent over an hour total, maybe more, an hour and a half on the phone with me over these couple conversations, very patient, explaining everything. And I never felt like you were, you're saying like, listen, I've spent all this time with you. Like, you sign up for piss or get off the pot. I never felt that with you. And so I decided to go forward, and so we started, and it wasn't all fun and games. The first of all, there's, you're very thorough, and you asked me to get a lot of information to you. And, that took a little bit of time. Once I did that, we had to do just some different videos, whatever. Once we did that, you got us live, and the leads started coming in pretty much right away, like you said they would. But the first month was not great. I mean, I actually happened to have 2 patients who came in from your leads that first month that signed up. So it paid for it for the next 6 months or 8 months or whatever it was, just from those 2 patients. But I remember being frustrated because I was starting to get that feeling a little bit. The number of leads that were coming in versus how many were actually signing up to come to so the schedule rate wasn't great. And then once you had the schedule rate, the show up rate wasn't amazing, but much, I mean, it blew away the other thing I was doing at Facebook, even from the beginning. But to your credit, I remember saying, hey, I just, it's so frustrating. There's so many of these leads that come in that we can't get a hold of, and we're trying to schedule them. They're not scheduling, and then you said, okay. And you paused it, or I think you even continued to run it, but not charge me. In fact, I think is what you did. And you made some changes, and then you went live, I think 8 to 10 days later, or 2 weeks, or whatever it was. And then literally from the time you went live till now, 3-4, I don't know the exact.
Yeah, it was January 3rd. We started the new year.
Okay. So it was so what are we at? May 2nd. So 4 full months, right?
Right.
So these last 4 full months, I have broken my all-time record for new patients in a month, 4 months in a row. Not my best month was March. That was I didn't count how many new patients yet in April, so I can't tell you April. I don't think it beat March, but in March we had 65 new patients, and I averaged, before I started with you, I averaged 40, maybe just below 40, but right around 40. Okay. And I think my highest ever was 46. In March I had 65. So it was funny because I guess I've been conditioned to be pretty skeptical. And, you said, again, for anyone else who's going to talk to you, it's going to sound too good to be true. You're going to think this can't be right. How does this work? But it really is a slightly different mousetrap. And in the quality of the leads, I had 3 new patients. I started today at 3 p.m. I had 3 new patients between 3 and 7. I'm trying to go through all of them. 1, 2 for sure. 2 were from you, 1 wasn't. And both excellent these are the people, as a spinal decompression doctor, what you want, right? You want we like helping people who are in severe pain. I treat chiropractic patients too. And there's tons of patients you've sent me that maybe weren't as severe, didn't need spinal decompression yet. So I said, look, you definitely have a disc problem, but we're going to try treating you, the cheaper, quicker, faster way, better first. And if you're not responding to that, we're going to then we'll sit down again and look over your MRI, or send you for MRI if they don't have an MRI, and talk about decompression later. So it's been really great. It's really exciting to me. I have an associate, so it's 2 of us, and I feel like I'm trying to keep us both busy. And that was a problem before. I could keep one of us busy, but it was kind of hard to keep both of us busy. And these last 4 months, both of our schedules are completely booked. There have been times where I'm like, okay, should I start considering hiring a 3rd associate? Is this going to continue? Because, you're naturally scared. I don't want to hire another doctor, and then, it just, everything falls out from us. But it's been really good. And I really can't say enough about your system. It's really great.
That's great. So would you say that the leads we're sending, what we're shooting for is really sort of 2 classifications. One is that they fit your ideal patient profile, and B, that they're also sales ready.
Yes, exactly. I'd say, first of all, I didn't mention before, I say that I'm going to say around 75% of the leads schedule. And then of the ones that schedule, 75% come in, which is for an internet lead. I think, I don't know if anyone else is having better experience with that, but it's the best of all the stuff I've ever done. That's the highest. That's by far the best. And,
Right.
And they're good cases. Like they're people who have tried chiropractic, tried physical, if you're a spinal decompression guy, the stuff you want, the people who have failed chiropractic, failed PT, failed acupuncture, have failed epidurals. Sometimes they fail back surgery. Sometimes they want to avoid back surgery. Exactly what we're looking for. People who have tried the stuff. They want to avoid surgery. They want what we're able to give them. They appreciate it, and they're for the most part ready to go. And it's been great.
That's awesome. That's great.
And you've been really great to work with, Steve. Really, for anybody out there, we all work with lots of people, lots of vendors. People can be annoying. People can be hard to deal with. People, like I said, at the beginning of the first month when we were tweaking things, I was like, oh, I can't believe this. I was so excited about going into this new thing, and I wanted it to work so bad, but yet I was so skeptical. And so through it all, even when we had to tweak things, you weren't like, oh, keep giving it a shot, keep trying. Nope, you were like, okay, and you're constantly plugging, constantly tweaking, and you've been from day one a pleasure to deal with. I appreciate it.
Likewise, absolutely, 100%. Thank you. And you brought up the scheduling rate, and I know you recently lost a pretty good staffer, but what was her scheduling rate?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. So I have call tracking software for all for all the different marketing we do. And so I'd say year after year, we're right around the scheduling rate is usually for new patients right around 60%, not usually over 60%. It's usually like 58 to 60% is, the software kind of shows it listens to calls and stuff. And so it takes out existing patients versus new patient calls. And on the new patient calls, it's right around 60%. For February and March, I didn't look at April yet. For February and March, the office, not just that one staff member, because I had to let my office manager go, but the total rate was 83% of new patients who called scheduled. Now, remember, that's only from marketing. Those are things from like what you did, what you sent me, and my other marketing things. That's not patients who call from referrals from medical doctors or patients who probably schedule at close to 100%.
Right.
So I thought that's pretty remarkable. I've never seen that. So again, kind of further, like, not just like, okay, what's the numbers, 75% in my head, but like actually some proof, like, okay, it really is pretty high percentage of scheduling and showing up.
And did you change anything else that you were doing over the last 4 to 6 months? Is there anything else that you changed or tweaked other than?
No, nothing. Did not change anything else. Did not add any new marketing. Did not stop any old marketing. You were the only variable. What you've been doing is the only variable change. I'm thinking there's nothing we changed at all.
Right. And then so, as we send some of the leads actually through our funnel, but some of the leads we're actually sending straight to your main site, right? And so we're able to track somewhere between 20 and 40 inbound calls a month that actually don't come through our funnel. It's pretty. So that's
correct.
Why we always try to monitor the total overall change, because not everything is directly attributable.
Yeah, it's been great. I'll tell you, it's really nice because I have a high overhead, and I'm sure other people watching this have high overheads, and you have your kind of floor. Usually, kind of hit, even on a bad month, you hit a certain level, and you kind of get used to that, and hopefully that's good enough. But you want that floor to rise. You want that, like, your low months to get to a certain point where you're like kind of where you want to be, and that's been hard for a while to get to that next level for me. And these last couple months, I feel like the floor is much lower now because it's a numbers game. I mean, at the end of the day, not everyone starts spinal decompression therapy. It's not covered by insurance. It's more out of pocket. People have to decide. It's not like everyone who comes in signs up, but when you have 25 more you're seeing, it's who are qualified, not just chiropractic, but they're qualified decompression patients. The numbers are great.
That's awesome. What area would you say that we helped you with the most? Is there a particular area that you say?
Getting better. So I think a mistake I made a couple years back is that I thought my search engine optimization of my website for chiropractic was really pretty well optimized. So I was getting a lot of new patients from the internet every month. And so I kind of turned down some of the more costly marketing for spinal decompression therapy because I had so many new patients. But looking back, I think was such a big mistake is that the people coming in were coming for chiropractic. So they didn't have as severe symptoms, and I'd get them better in 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 or 12 treatments or whatever. It's a handful of treatments, and they're great, but they're not what pays my overhead. And the decompression patients are what pay the overhead. And so that's what's been amazing. Like the ones you're sending to me are not, most of them are come in, they're the ones that come in with 2 or 3 MRIs. They're coming in, they're frustrated, like at the end of the day, right? We have this great treatment that works so well, but is not covered and it costs a lot. And so not everyone is ready to make that commitment. But when you have someone who's tried almost everything else and it's failed, they're a lot more likely to go forward. And that's what we're looking for.
So how does tell me about the staff and their reaction and their feelings. How does the staff feel about me or the campaign in general? And how does that differ maybe than somehow your peers have to deal with their staff and the reaction to the internet marketing that they engage in?
It's a good question. Because 2 of my staff were here or whatever when I did that Facebook marketing 2 years ago. I don't know when it was, 2 or 3, when I did that other thing I spoke about earlier. Certainly the one who did most of the calling is still here, and she remembers how frustrating it was. And she's also, it's clear. It's clear as day, the big difference. I also bonus my staff. I highly recommend bonusing anyone's staff I've done this for a long time, but bonus your staff for new patients scheduled. It's so important for them to remember, the more patients you have in your office, the more work it is for your staff, not just you. And so if they're just making their hourly wage or whatever it is, and they have no skin in the game, there's nothing incentivizing them to work harder. More patients means they work harder. And I've seen this with past staff that like literally they can sabotage your business because they don't want to process 8 new patients in a day, because processing new patients and calling insurance companies and calling for get MRIs approved takes time and it's tedious, and they still have their other jobs to do and get done. And when they have to do MRI, getting MRIs approved take time. And so I realized it's the hard way that, you need to get them to want new patients. You want them to get incentivized. And so what I did was, again, 40 was my average. So if we hit above 40 new patients, I gave them $5 per new patient all the way from all 40 from one. Okay. So they would keep track of who booked which patient, and they got $5 in cash. I paid them for all 40, up to 49. They get $5 per one. Okay. Which we never had ever hit 50 before. And then once we hit 50, it's $10 per patient for everyone. So in the first month, we hit 58 new patients, and I paid $580 in cash that month. Let me tell you, they were fighting over the phones. They were literally fighting over the phones. They were following up with leads on the weekends. It was, and then we're at 65 the next month, it was really quite incredible. So I highly recommend that. You could pick whatever you want, $5, $10, whatever is not you're comfortable with. 50, you can do whatever you want. The more you're willing to give, the more it's going to work. Because let me tell you, I felt like once we hit that $10 level per patient, they were really incentivized to get that patient to come through the door.
Okay, very cool. And lastly, why would you suggest anybody else work with me? What would you have
I didn't hear you say again.
What would you have to say to someone who's considering working with us for their lead gen?
I would say kind of listen to what I said just this last couple of minutes. I mean, I tried everything. First of all, I'm happy. I'm going to put my cell phone right out there right now. My cell phone is 201-407-4466. It's a Jersey cell phone. Don't get confused. I'm in New York, so if you're confused, but feel free to call me. It's legit. It works really, really well. I've tried a lot of things, and I feel like I finally have found this answer that, will just keep me busy constantly, so there's never been a down week. It was like, I'm seeing 15 new patients a week on average. It's like, week after week after week. And I'm starting to think, well, 7 decompression treatment tables enough? Do I need to buy a bigger office? Now, I'm not yet 100% full yet where I can't, where I'm going to make that jump, but it's been 4 months in a row of gangbuster new patients coming in. So, hopefully it'll continue. I believe it will, because I've seen nothing I understand the system. You've explained to me really well. Everything you've told me has come true. So I think it's great. It's a no-brainer to try it, because what we do brings in a pretty expensive new patient. So what does it cost? Less than one new patient a month to make it worth it. So, I would give it that first month to get out the tweaks. And by the second month, there's no chance if you're working with Steve that you won't see a crazy return on your investment.
I appreciate that, Doc. Thank you.
Sure.
Let's do a little time out here. So we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Just create a little more content. So hey, Doc, try to keep it simple, right? There's a lot of very technical, hardcore stuff that goes into our big data and artificial intelligence, machine learning process. And we don't like to get into the weeds of we're not trying to make anybody sick. And so from your perspective, your understanding, how would you describe what you know about how our secret sauce really works?
Okay. So you've not asked me that question ever before. So I'm gonna just tell you what I think, and you'll tell me how close I am.
All right, cool.
Okay. So essentially, what Steve does is has some kind of certification to get a list of people who are ready to buy spinal decompression therapy. So every week, I don't know if it's like Tuesday at midnight or something, he gets a list from big data. These people, through their internet browsing history, this list is of people not just like searching for sciatica or herniated disc, but these people, whatever it is, they figured out through many feedbacks from the doctors coming back to them and with the way they learn who buys from them, which we'll talk about more in a minute. They learn who's ready to buy, not just who's looking for a chiropractor, but specific to spinal decompression therapy or chiropractic, whatever list you get. Okay. How am I doing so far?
Doing pretty good.
Okay. Then instead of going on Facebook and the whole thing, why the Facebook sellers come to you and say, oh, we're so good at selling Facebook is because let's say we know that women, I don't know what the demographic, let's say women between 40 and 55 is the best demographic. So we can hit, exactly the demographic we're looking for, that we know that's the best looking for what widget you're going to buy. Forget that. This is like 100 times better. It doesn't matter if they're women between 40 and 55. We're literally have the list of people who are looking to buy spinal decompression therapy. Okay. So now we're doing what those Facebook advertisers are bragging about they can do, but it's 100 times more effective than that because these people are ready to buy. Not they're searching, they're looking. No, these people are in a lot of pain and they are ready to go to an appointment. So now we have two separate videos. You've explained to me that if you just put one, Facebook doesn't let you just put an offer out there. They don't like that. They want you to wine and dine them first a little bit, get them to know you better. So first, Steve takes I have a video, 60-second video that Yelp made me a year or two back. Just a 60-second video in my office talked to me a little bit about it, has a little some quick testimonials from patients, some view around my office, a little bit about spinal decompression, and puts that out there to these people who are on this list, and they see the videos. If anyone from the Facebook land who is seeing that clicks on it, they are now in our funnel, and then they will start getting more information and more the video will repeat again for them. And also our second video with an offer to come in for a free consultation, they'll see that. So they've already kind of discovered us. They might've gone to our website. Now we capture them in this whole lead generation. And then we continue to market them. They continue to see us. If they saw us on Facebook, now they see us on Instagram, or they see us on Google. It follows them wherever they are. It's in their computer or IP address or whatever it is. I don't fully understand it. And then they keep seeing us till they go crazy, and they're like, okay, I got to go see that guy because I've seen him. They think like God is putting them in front of them to the point where okay, I've seen this guy 18 times and I thought my pain's better, but it's not better. So this is a sign from God. I need to go see that guy that I keep seeing, that keeps coming, flashing across my Facebook feed. So then they sign up and they give us their name, phone number, and email. And then we capture a lead, or a lot of them. And a much higher percentage of anything I've ever seen will call directly, which is obviously what we want, even better than a lead. Right. So how's that? That's kind of what you do. Good.
That's pretty good. You understand it pretty well. That's right. Really well. That's excellent. I mean, you said it really. I mean, I wanted the 30,000-foot view, and you nailed it, right? So.
Oh wait, I got one more thing. The computer keeps learning who's ready to buy spinal decompression therapy. So it in theory keeps getting better and better. And
smarter and smarter.
I have nothing but good things to say so far.
Excellent. Yeah, we find people who are in market who fit your ideal customer.
I can't wait. I kid you not, because I'm doing this on my phone right now. So I swear to God, above your forehead, a lead just came in.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. We find people who are in market who fit your ideal customer profile. We don't rely on any platform's targeting mechanism. We actually tell them who to put the ad in front of. And then we just build them your authority building content that builds that like, no trust factor. And when they go from in market to in funnel, and then we introduce them to you, we give them an offer. And by that time, they are, again, still in market. They are your ideal customer profile. And now they like, know, and trust you. And they see an offer. And that's one of the reasons why we're getting such a high scheduling rate, show rate, and then, of course, a closing rate. So it really is a very, very unique system that, frankly, no one else can have. So, and then we also offer you an exclusive, right? So no one else will have this information in your market, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. The idea is we want to get people before your competitors, more often than your competitors, and for less money than your competitors. And so you're reaching that sort of domination strategy. But you nailed it. I'm glad that after all of our interaction, you really do understand the program pretty well. So can we talk about from the practice's perspective? Of course, there are all these horror stories, right, about, what happens inside the office when leads come in. And you mentioned before your previous experience, but there really is an effective way to nurture and follow up with internet leads. And you guys are doing a great job of it. So can you tell me a little bit about the mechanics of how it works in your office? Like, you just got a lead right now. What happens next? Tell me. Well, I know it's getting late tonight, but let's say it was 2:00 in the afternoon. What happens next?
Okay, so again, let's talk that lead that just literally came across your forehead that I saw came in. So instantly, this is the part you set up, that instantly when that lead comes in, they're getting an email and I believe a text that we've set up, an automated text and email saying something like, thank you so much for reaching out for a free consultation for Westchester Spinal Decompression Center. You can call us at X number and we can schedule you right now, or one of our staff members will be in touch with you very shortly, something like that. Then my staff is trained to, I tell them over and over again, like, the faster you get to them, the better. So hopefully within 5 minutes, they are on the phone calling that lead. If they leave a message, I tell them when they hang up, they text the patient as well. Again, kind of a similar message. And then, there's like a fine dance between, you don't want to overkill, the amount of contacting the patient, but they do have to be nurtured. So maybe if it's the morning, then they'll try one more time at night, maybe with a phone call or an email, not both, or a text. Texting is really good. I'd say when we started texting, we saw that was a big, big, big help. Like, a lot of people nowadays, if they don't recognize the number, they might not pick up the phone. It's really key to text them in that first 5 years. I still say call first. If you get them, great. But if they don't pick up, text right then and there. And a lot of times they realize, oh, that's what that is, and then they text back. And I'd say 50% of our patients now, this is only since I started working with you, okay? 50% of our new patients come in through this system. We text. Our entire process is through text. My staff won't even talk to them. You could have like a whole conversation. The staff will just copy and paste the stuff that we've said a million times about bringing MRIs, bringing their spouses in, our directions, our, giving us 24 hours cancellation policy, everything you can think of, through text, boom, simple, easy. And within 2 minutes, they're scheduled and they still show up, which is the most important thing.
And they show up. Yeah. So in addition, one of the things we also send them in that instant automated text and email is a free report on spinal decompression. So
That's
we're
right.
continuing to educate them and, and prime the pump. So assumed your content, now they've opted in to register for your offer, and they're still getting that authority building content to sort of reinforce. So if they opt in at 2:00 in the morning and you can't get to them till 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, it hasn't been just, a black hole from that 2 a.m. opt-in when they couldn't sleep and they're online looking for pain relief. They may have been reading your free report between now, then and when you call them. So
Right.
Continuing process.
Yeah. And then if they, again, kind of do it for the first day or two, email them. And then if they're not responding, then we wait a couple of days and they kind of go in our queue and we do it again, and then there's some that never responded, and once a month, we'll just send out a blast. But all the leads that come in kind of go into my weekly health emails so that they're on our list, and maybe they opt out, maybe they don't, maybe they keep getting in, but every week they'll get a health email from me forever. Maybe they were in pain that one day, they're not in pain anymore, but they'll keep it, and they might call. I mean, maybe they keep getting in, but every week they'll get a health email from me forever. Maybe they were in pain that one day, they're not in pain anymore, but they'll keep it, and they might call. I mean, as decompression doctors, we all get patients who, they say call in, or they came in for consultation, they don't start care, and then a year later they come in, they just weren't ready, and then all of a sudden they sign up for care.
Right. Or you just stay top of mind, they refer a friend.
Exactly.
Right. Well, hey, Doc, I want to thank you. And I want to just honestly and sincerely testify that, you are not just a good man, but you've been an incredible pleasure to work with. It's truly been my honor. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you taking the time tonight to do this call with me. Is there anything else in closing you want to share before we wrap the call up?
I think I covered it all. Again, I gave myself one earlier. My email address is drjdonath, drjdonath @gmail.com, and feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. I feel like this is a no-brainer to give a shot. You're going to be pleasantly surprised.
And what's the name of your book? Title of your book?
The Neck and Back Pain Solution: Everything You Need to Know About Non-Surgical Spinal Decompression Therapy. Excellent.
Thanks, Doc. I really appreciate it, man. Have a great night.
Sounds good. Have a great night, Steve. Bye-bye.
Bye.